People who've had sex with celebrities, how was it? I know a girl that hooks up with Hannibal Buress every time he comes to Milwaukee. Edit. They met on Bumble and she said, he's very sweet guy. Someone I know says they slept with Britney Spears. She had to sign ANDA. Edited to a gender of said friend. My dad dated Sarah Wayne Callies Lori Grimes from The Walking Dead in high school. He defines her as a very nice girl. Truth be told, I don't think he remembers much of that relationship, but she came to our house party once when I was a kid and she was always really nice to me and my sister. Reddit. I think it's worth mentioning the irony here. She was only around when I was a kid, once or twice when my parents would throw house parties, being 8 or 9. I just thought of her as another adult there and didn't really care. But when I was 13 to 16 and became a huge Walking Dead fan and never saw her around after that, I was so disappointed. There were points me and my mom would be watching the show and my dad would walk in and be like, you know, I dated the actress who played Lori. Yes, Dad. I know. If only there was some way to meet her. Knew someone who slept with Leonardo DiCaprio. Apparently, he kept his headphones on the entire time. He's learning his scripts. Did it happen in a pool? My grandmother dated Jimmy Carter. Not sure how physical things got, but I've read a few of the letters he wrote. I only post this because I can't think of any other reason I would get to bring this up. Dak in the OOs. A mate of mine used to Shaggy every time he would come to Melbourne. I think he probably made 2 to 3 trips down here. We'd all make a big deal about her disappearing for a few days to shag Shaggy. She had nothing but nice things to say about him. She knew she was nothing but a bit of side poon when he was in town. I knew a girl who was an escort. She had sex with Derek Jeter. Afterwards he called a limo to take her home. In the limo was a gift. It was a baseball signed by Derek Jeter. He did this with all of them. There are plenty of dames in New York with Yankees gift baskets courtesy of this legend. Jenna Jameson kissed me on the mouth at a strip club in Ohio. That's all I got. That's all I got. Count yourself lucky. A friend was part of an actor's studio playhouse in the 80s. She said Jeff Goldblum has a huge and is an amazing lover. They did it a few times, but he let her down easy because his career was taking off and he was crazy dizzy. He was really cool and remembered her years later. Alec Baldwin was also hung but was super hairy and sweated a lot. Like, it was dripping into her mouth. It was too hard to ignore the sweatiness for her to enjoy it. But he was hilarious, very bright and smelled good. Carrie Hatch, the bass player from Moigo Boigo, would scream, "I'm coming," really loud. Edit. Correction from my friend. Carrie Hatch was the drummer back when they were together. He broke her heart. Post Malone asked my ex-girlfriend if she would be interested in going home with him under the condition that she would have to eat his My mom had sex with David Lee Roth. She said he smelled like sour milk and put his dirty hat on her head. I hooked up with Randy Newman's son. He said I had a nice vagina. I guess that's a win. My ex slept with Till from Rammstein after a gig once many years ago when she was a gothlet. She said he was very respectful, mildly kinky, wanted to have sex on the hotel balcony with her bent over the rail over the city so people could see, and apparently had skin as soft as a baby. Apparently, he was nice, bought her breakfast the next day, invited her back for a second sesh the next day, then moved on in his tour. She said 8/10 would again. A woman I worked with had a one-night stand with Captain Obvious from Hotels.com, whom she met at a NY Jazz Club. She pretended that she didn't recognize him in order to prevent being seen as a gold digger. She was hoping to get into a short-term relationship with him, and hopefully he would give her some money and buy her a Lexus, which she really wanted. Later she found out that he wasn't Captain Obvious, just looked very much like him. I used a gender-neutral bathroom with James Franco. We made eye contact and smiled at each other when we were washing our hands. I did not sleep with but did a little more than made out with Drew Barrymore Octo 7. It was rad. A friend of mine slept with Paris Hilton. Would you be surprised if my friend said the sex wasn't very good? Edit. Paris Hilton, the gossip blogger, not Paris Hilton the heiress. Too many people think I meant Paris when I wrote Paris. On a trip to Vegas, one of my friends asked Michael Jordan. She said it was painful and fairly fast. She won't ever stop talking about it. My wife's grandmother dated Ted Bundy, said he was a wonderful and charming guy. A friend of mine had sex with Paul Wesley. She said it was pretty good. He also took her on a short getaway trip. Seemed like a very nice guy. Ended up getting her a gift handled that was the scent of his cologne so she can remember him. A girl I went to high school with dated Jason Akuga, aka We Man, shortly before Jackass 3 came out. He visited her family in WI around Thanksgiving time, but he hated WI so much that he paid her best friend to drive him to the airport in the middle of the night. A friend told me Victoria Justice gave lap dances to some of his friends at a party the year she signed on for Victorious. Close to 20 years ago, my roommate hooked up with a suicide girl who came to our apartment to stay for a few days. She kept name-dropping all these celebrities she knew like Slash and Trent Reznor to the point we were like, "Why you lying?" Then she pulled out all the pictures of her with various famous musicians. Apparently she was the secretary to someone famous for producing music, and that was how she met all these dudes. Well, she was in a relationship with Maynard from Tool at the time, and she left him to come live with us for a while because apparently sex with Maynard was just really fucking bad. She later left my roommate for one of the drummers for Slipknot because he bought her a house in Texas. My roommate worked for a grocery store and just couldn't compete with the money. She did assure him that the celebrity sex was still bad. It was purely for the house. Slept with the lady that used to do the morning news in my city. This was at least 15 years ago. She is a blanket stealer and puts her cold feet right between your legs and she wants them warmed up. Now everyone knows Cassie. Not me, but a friend of a friend went home with John Mayer after a party in law. Apparently, when things were getting hot and heavy, he asked her to sing his songs to him. When she said no, he then asked if he could pee on her. She again said no and went to the bathroom to take a break. She came out of the bathroom to see him leaving. She went into her bedroom and saw he peed all over her bed. She said it was one of the worst nights she's ever had. Friend of mine met Tiger Woods while bartending a golf charity tournament he was attending. He took her back to his hotel room and tossed her salad and had unprotected sex. This was several years before he crashed into a mailbox and divorced his wife. A Noah married woman who has a child that looks just like Tiger Woods. Not unusual except for the fact her and her husband are white. The kid isn't, and she was one of his booty calls. I saw Danny DeVito cursing at a cyclist who nearly wiped him out. Getting out of a private cab once in San Fran was almost as good as sex. Girl I know slept with G-Eazy in 2015 before he was really big. He gave her chlamydia. Well, Mal. I feel like chlamydia is his middle name. I'm starting to figure out people who bang celebrities aren't on Reddit. My sister drunkenly kissed Keanu Reeves on the back of the neck. She will never live it down, and Keanu was cool, and I met him. My sister with Drake. I walked into her room like 10 years ago and she was Skyping him. I waved to him and said, "Hi," and he showed me the studio he was sitting in because I was skeptical. Pretty cool. I guess they met up after his show in the city we lived in at the time, and then never spoke again. Lol edit. She signed in down. I did not. Friend girl of mine, an NBA player. The only detail I remember was that he was adamant about taking the condom with him when he left. Update. Thank you for the award. My friend bragged to me about getting bought by Tone Loc funky cold Medina guy. She was 18 but seemed proud of it. About 20 years later we were watching old videos and Tone Loc came on and I asked her about it and she said it sucked. He didn't shower after coming off stage. A little smelly. Drunk and gave a few pumps and was done. Edit. Thanks for all of the comments and laughs. My friend was young and really didn't have much to compare her night with Tone Loc to. Fast forward a few decades and she now realized it was not that great. No, we never slept with each other, and that is good because I would not want to be compared to Tone Lock. I will let my friend check out this fee and see if she gets a chuckle also. Thanks everyone. My grandma is from Memphis and dated Elvis for a while before he became mega famous. She has tons of pictures of them together and has told me tons of anecdotes that I have only seen in a few other places. Edit. Well, wasn't expecting this to blow up. My inbox is literally full and I can't reply to everyone. Sorry. I posted this right before bed and am just now getting up. I've seen only 6 of the pictures. I believe she had more, but she mentioned she only shows them to family now because some had been stolen. And yes, for those asking about age, Elvis would be 83 this year and my grandma just turned 79. So she would have been a few years younger than he and certainly very below 18. She told me lots of stuff, but for some reason the thing that sticks out to me the most and always makes me smile is that he loved bumper cars. 3 of the 6 photos she showed me were taken at different amusement parks, fairs, and 2 of them were in front of different sets of bumper cars. Just thinking of a young Elvis laughing and ramming into my grandma makes me smile. Unfortunately, I live over 9 hours away from her, so I can't just ride over and upload the photos online. And honestly, I'm not sure if she would approve of that, but I will try and remember next time I go down there. Before AIDS was a thing, a friend of mine slept with Christopher Walken. He was in town for one night and told her that's all they have. She was fine with that. She said he was a perfect gentleman and a very sweet lover. He kept telling her how beautiful she was and made her feel like a queen. Edit to state that the mention of AIDS was only to date the story. I should have just said it was in the early 80s. Thanks for the awards and all the comments. I thought this sweet little story would get buried. I have no more information. She's a lady and didn't talk about it more than I posted. This was nearly 35 years ago and she still adores him. It's nice to know that some celebrities are decent people. My grandma did one of the Beatles in the 60s. Edit. It was Paul. And she has his number. Edit 2. Story time. In 1961 my grandma dated Paul for 3 weeks, then they broke up on good terms and stayed in contact. Nothing changed when he died, but she got his phone number in like 2008 and they hang out sometimes when she's in England. I've met him twice. Has pretty nice. Edit 3. Yes, I know Paul is not dead, but there's a common conspiracy theory that he died in a car accident and was replaced because it would have been catastrophic to the band. The Masked for Hamburger Helper. A friend slept with the lead singer of City and Color when they were touring university campuses. In the early 2000s, she bragged about it to anyone who would listen. That ended a few weeks later when she realized he gave her chlamydia and genital warts. I once had sex with Eartha Kitt in an airplane bathroom. My wife has been in a couple of TV commercials, and I'm hoping that she will have sex with me one day. Soon, please. Edit. I'm glad everyone is enjoying my dead sex life. Thanks for the rewards. I've never got one before. I don't know what they are good for, but thanks. I hooked up with the drummer of Slipknot when they were in town. Twice. I was working at a strip club band. He wanted lap dances. He paid me to do a lap dance for like at least an hour. It was a ton of money. We bonded in conversation in that time. He invited me to hang out at his hotel, which I was still naive enough to not know if that just meant hanging out. I liked him though. We had fun. And he put me on the guest list. I went to his show the next night, went backstage, checked out the tour bus, and then met him at his hotel again. For the answer to how was it, he was good. It was fun. Edit. No. I'm not the suicide girl in Texas with a house. I shook hands with Penn and Teller, then went back to my hotel room and my wife. I stood 2 feet away from Ethan Hawke in Tulum, Mexico at the restaurant Heartwood, and that's the closest I've been to a celebrity's genitals. I used to know a dude who claims to have met Amanda Bynes in a mental hospital rehab. They dated for a while. He said she was very unstable and clingy and honestly terrifying to be with. One wish I could remember some of his stories. I slept with a well-known now deceased rapper when he came to Toronto a couple of times, And I stayed at his place in California for a few days as well. The sex was good, but it wasn't any better than a non-celeb. He wasn't selfish, in bed, that all, and it felt natural cause we got along. He was actually really down to earth and fun to hang out with. Mac Miller will be missed. There's this long-standing rumor that while Timothy Chalamet was attending NU, he gave a lot of people chlamydia. And with the amount of accounts from NU students to corroborate this, I'm obliged to believe this. And with all the clinics in Manhattan, no one thought to take him aside and tell him to get his weeping willy treated. I slept with a very famous and still popular rapper from Memphis. The sex was surprisingly good. He was very attentive and affectionate. I thought he'd be arrogant, but he was cool and made sure I enjoy myself too. A friend met Matthew McConaughey at a club in Miami. She went home with him, said it was meh. Pete Wentz held my hand while performing Saturday. Does that count? Thanks for watching.